So guys, I was riding in my car today and I just had the idea for this video so that people can understand what it means, like what it really means to be yourself. So a lot of people say, just be yourself in social situations. Don't worry too much about, anything else, just be yourself. And strangely enough, that was the best advice that anybody ever gave to me was absolutely be yourself in social situations. The problem with this is that most guys are not being themselves, not because they're not trying to be themselves. I mean, you try to put that out there and drop your guard and be vulnerable and say what you want, say what you mean what you say. A bunch of cliches there, but you get the point. When you are in a social situation and you have baggage from other social situations that didn't quite go the way you wanted them to go, whether that's with, guy friends or whether that's with women, whatever it is, a boss, networking, if it didn't go the way that you wanted it to go and you felt like you were being yourself and you weren't having fun, you weren't laughing, you weren't smiling, you weren't saying what it is that you wanted to say, you weren't expressing in the way that you felt like you wanted to express. All of that comes from being incongruent. So you're trying, if you're expressing and you're being yourself, you don't have to try to do it. You just let everything go. One big problem here is that you have baggage from other, and I call it baggage, past experiences that didn't quite go your way that you've created a story about or you've created an identity for yourself that isn't quite true. It doesn't quite add up to the identity that you're trying to present. So one is a conscious identity, the way that you want people to see you, and the other one is your subconscious identity, which is what you really think about yourself. That's going to leak out. That is that is not who you are, but that is who you think you are. Even more add more complexity to this. You have your conscious identity, which you're trying to be, and then you have your subconscious identity, which is what you think you are, and then you have what you actually are underneath all of that. The goal is to match up your conscious identity with your identity that is at the core of who you are and express that identity. Now, how you get the subconscious identity out of the way, all of that, some of it's good and some of it's not very good. Like if you think that you are not good in social situations or people are going to think that you're ugly or that your mouth looks funny when you talk, so you don't want to talk to people, or you can't look people in the eye in a conversation, or you're jittery and nervous, or you look down a lot when people are talking to you. You get nervous feelings in your gut, and that restricts your breathing, and so when you're not breathing fully and deeply, you're not relaxed, and you appear more nervous. To get to the root of all of these things, we really have to dive deep into your mind, into your thoughts about your identity, who you are, what you want to be. Like we have to dig deep down in there and figure out, okay, what do you think about yourself? Who do you think you are? And then we have to figure out exactly who you actually are. And then we have to mesh the two and help you to see that who you are is not all of these negative traits that you've equated yourself to just because of the past experiences that you've had. Your experiences do not equal your identity. You think that it does. Your identity is at the core of who you are. It's your character. To give you a quick story about me, when I was really young, I used to go to school, and I think it was probably about a week or two straight. I came home really, really hungry. And my mom would always ask me, and she'd be like, I sent you to school with lunch. Why are you coming home hungry? And my answer was, Joni didn't have lunch. Alex didn't have lunch. Mike didn't have lunch, so I gave mine to them. I'm 3 or 4 years old. My identity is one of a giver. That's who I really truly am. I wasn't trying to be that. That's just who I am. I'm a generous giver person and generous giving person. And I could never deny that in myself. Even if I try to deny that in myself, I cannot deny that. At 4 or 5 years old, I was giving naturally from my heart. And that's exactly where you want to be. I feel like a lot of people, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people are generous and giving, and they just don't allow themselves to give. They don't allow themselves to give to other people, whether it be a compliment or whether you're buying a drink for someone in a social situation, or whether you're giving them a little bit of cash or a ride. You don't have to always give, but it feels really, really good when you do and when it comes from the heart. So getting back to the point about who you are, your identity, we have to figure that out. And then what we have to do is clear off all the subconscious bullshit that gets in the way of you expressing who you truly are. When you can get rid of all of that and we can clean that mud off of you, you will be expressing yourself. And it won't be try hard. You won't have to do anything. You will just be. It's being versus doing. We want you to just be yourself. That's it for today, guys, and we will talk soon.